Yes, those who are in class. What was the discussion last time? Can anyone answer? What was the discussion last time? If I'm not wrong, we discussed about the life cycle method. Yes, tell me, what is the life cycle method? What are the life cycle methods? जोर से बोलो. हाँ?
Initialization for Servlet, then service method, and destroy.
Exactly. We have three methods: init, service, and destroy. Right? What init method does? What init method does? Servlet initialization. We will set certain configuration parameter and we can set it. You can use your mobile because my projector is not working. તમે કરી લો join. Right? Okay? And we said servlet interface is used for that purpose. We can have servlet interface, which is the root class. And from servlet interface, we have generic servlet class. So generic servlet is the child class, right? And HTTP servlet is child of generic servlet. Child of generic servlet. Fine? And we have different service method in HTTP servlet. Which are those different methods? With the HTTP servlet, how can we go with the service implementation other than the service? Which methods are there? Hello students, I am talking to all those who are in class, those who are online. What we have? I see over here 45 students and almost 8 students are in front of me. Nobody is knowing? So which methods we are having with HTTP servlet? Instead of service, there are two variations of services which we can use with HTTP servlet. That is service with servlet request and servlet response object, and service with HTTP servlet request and HTTP servlet response object. And apart from that, we said that there will be do access method. Yes or no? So this is service with servlet request and response object, and this is HTTP servlet request and response object, and we have do access method. So this was the discussion last time where we have seen one example for adding two numbers. Along with that, we have gone through the discussion of how we can implement the servlet using different methodology, right? So that's what we discussed last time. Today, we are going to discuss about what is the difference. What is the difference between get and post method? Fine? Because we say in most of the applications, HTTP protocol will be used, and when I'm using the HTTP protocol, mostly I will go with the get or post method. Fine? So let us discuss a bit. Can anyone tell me what is the difference between get and post method of HTTP? Anyone? Those who are in class, those who are on. What's your name? Neil. Neil is saying data will be visible in get method. Why? It's right. Data will be visible in get method, whereas in post, data will not be exposed in the URL bar. Right? That's a major difference. But why is it so? Security purpose. It means that if data is secure, we should use get, otherwise we should use post. For example, if you are doing the transaction and you are using online banking and you are transferring the money, it will ask you net banking password. Doing the payment online for the shopping site, you are giving the PIN number of your debit card, CCV number and all. In all those cases, we should not use get method because data is visible in URL bar. Fine? But my question still remains same. Why? Why data is exposed in the get method? Why is it visible? Whereas in post it is not visible. Why? What is the situation? Why is it like that? If you recall our previous discussion, we said request and response happens with the help of HTTP protocol, and HTTP protocol is having two parts, header and payload, right? Now can you relate why? Can you relate why data is secure, then we should use post. If it is non-secure, then get is fine.
Now we are going to next page or something, or so we can use the post. Oh, sorry, get.
No, I'm asking like why is it said that data is visible? Why it is visible? The reason is when you send the data using a get method, data passes inside the header part of your HTTP protocol. Fine? And when you send the data using the post method, the data passes using payload part. So whatever is in payload, it will not be visible in the header part. Are you getting the difference? Right? When you request for any page, let us suppose you are requesting for Facebook page. If you are requesting for Facebook page, a single page may have 20 images. So they are not, that data is not coming in the header, it is coming in payload. Right? But when you are going from your home page to your friend's profile, you pass an user ID. If you have noticed, Facebook does that. UID is equal to a long string. Right? So that user ID is exposed because it is a get method. Fine? Right? So I'm saying that data is visible because it is sent in the header part, whereas in post data is not visible because it is sent in payload part of HTTP protocol. What is the other difference? Get and post. What are the other differences? What if I want to send a large data? Should I use get or post? Are you getting my question? I'm saying that what if amount of data being sent is large? It means that if I am sending only, when you click on any website, shopping website, and you browse for the category or you choose the filter, right? Suppose you are doing shopping and you want to go with the polo t-shirt, right? So what you will do is you will search the category, you will click on that, and whatever options are there, it will come. Why? Because you are selecting a category, so there will be a category table. So primary key is category ID. When you are clicking on a particular image of that category, they passes that ID to the server. Server executes the query, select star from category where category ID is equal to 37. Let us suppose 37 is for polo t-shirts. So it will retrieve you back. So when small information such as category ID is just a number of 2 digit, 37. Fine. So that can be sent when amount of data is small, we are preferring get. But what if you are uploading a file, a project report, large amount, right? You are uploading a report. You are sending something in an email attachment. So that's a large data. So large data would be sent as an post. Fine. Why? Why is it so? ના અત્યારે તો સાઇઝ નો ઇશ્યુ ચાલે છે. Data is large, data is small. And even those who are online people are simply being there, they are not answering anything. Okay, it is because of the limitation of your header. We know that header is having the limitation. It cannot take beyond 132 or 127 characters, right? Get sends the limited amount of data because it is being sent in the header, and header is having the fixed size. In IPv4 and IPv6, if you have studied the difference of header size, right? And because of that purpose, if you have limited data, then you should use get because header size is limited. But when you are using post, it can send the large amount of data because in post, data is being sent in the body of HTTP protocol. Get is not secured because data is exposed in URL bar, and that's why if we are sending the sensitive information such as PIN number of your ATM card, we should use post because it is secure and data is not exposed in URL bar. Okay, here we are having one more point which says get request can be bookmarked. What is bookmarking? What is bookmarking?
Ma'am, we can save that header for the later use.
Something to directly open in shortcut way.
Exactly. I got two answers, one from offline class and one for online from the online class student. You see here. Can you see my browser? I guess no. Screen is lagging a bit. I have an option in my browser. I can click on bookmark, right? It says bookmark the current tab. If I'm doing the bookmark, next time when I will open my web browser, the page I can find easily from my bookmarks. Fine? You can see here it is asking me the name of the bookmark also. I can give a name and I can just save it. So this will save the page as a bookmark. Fine? So we are saying that get method can be bookmarked, whereas post cannot be, right? Because in post we are not saving anything, never exposing anything to the end user. As well, the one more point which is interesting over here is point number 4, which says get request is idempotent. The word idempotent means sequentially. When your first request is answered, then and then the next request will be taken forward, right? So we say get method is idempotent. It means that it will go or it will serve in sequence. Until the first is served, second will not be entertained. But with post, it is not the case. Post is non-idempotent. Fine. Last difference between get and post is that when we have get method, usually it is more efficient and used more in the web development. It is used more in the web development. Whereas your post is less efficient, right? And it is being used very less in the industry. I'm not saying like not at all we are using, but it depends on the functionality. Majority time, functionalities can be achieved through the get method, and it's more efficient because it exposes the data. So while doing the development, you can do easily testing which category IDs or what data you are passing, right? That's why get method is being used comparatively less, right? But if we compare all 7 methods, put, delete, option, truss, and head, get and post are being used more. But in that comparison, get is being more used because it is more efficient. Fine? Is it clear? Any question, any doubt? Anyone? Okay. Is there any question? So, if it is clear, now we are moving ahead and discussing one interesting point. I want everybody to focus here. We are going to discuss about servlet context and servlet config. Now let us understand what is servlet context and what is servlet config. When you develop a website, at times you will need the variables. You will need the variables. We call it as a configuration parameter. For example, if I have created a servlet, I hope my screen is showing you the NetBeans. Suppose I have a web application, right? Config file, and I'm creating one servlet, right? So I already have two servlet, demo servlet and demo servlet 1, 2. Let us create one more servlet. You can see the web.xml. You will have servlet tag and servlet mapping tag, right? Right now I have two servlet and servlet 2. That's why it is two tag, two servlet and two servlet mapping tag. Look at servlet tag 1, which is for demo servlet. There I have given two parameters. We call it as an init parameter. In other words, it is initialization parameter. When I say I have a servlet and I want to set certain variables specifically for that servlet to be used by that servlet only. In other words, your init parameter are the variables which are servlet specific. If you want to go with that servlet only, applicable to that servlet only, then you can use servlet initialization parameter represent as init param, INIT, init param. Okay. At times, you will have parameters which are applicable to entire application, whole application, right? In an application, if I have 75 servlets, which could be a case when it is real application. If I have 75 pages and I want some common variable which is applicable to all the servlets, right? In that case, I can go with the context parameter. In that case, I can go with the context parameter. Context parameter will not be inside any servlet tag. I can mention it outside. How we can create the context parameter is just write down context param, right? And you can give param name, right? And you can give, let us say I'm giving some default language. I'll say default language of this page. I want to give certain values. So I'm saying context param. I set a variable default language and I said param value is English. So by default the entire website will be in English. Fine. At times I want to change for a particular page, for example, demo servlet. I want that language should be in Gujarati. Only for this page, I want the language should be in Gujarati, right? So in that case, I can set the variable. Are you getting the point? What I'm saying is, init parameter is specifically for one servlet. It is accessible and applicable to one servlet. But when I say context param, it is applicable to entire application. Fine. Now, to access this variable, because these are setting parameter. When I'm doing setting, I want to use it somewhere in the business logic. In my program, I want to use it. So, to use this context param and servlet config and init param and context param, we have two interfaces. Interface number 1, it disturbs. Interface number 1, servlet config interface. Fine. Servlet config interface is used to get an object. We can create an object of servlet config which will allow you to read these variables to get the information from web.xml. Fine. Now, what is the advantage? Let us suppose right now for servlet, one servlet I set the language, default language was English, but somehow we decided that the language should not be English, it should be Hindi, the default language, right? So if we want to make this change, right, it could be the chance that at the 75 dynamic pages, almost 60 pages are using this default language. If they are using the default language and you are changing at the time of maintenance, you want to change, and then you are making a new parameter, and based on that your code should work, then you should not go to all 65 pages. Instead, you can change here and it will be applicable to everywhere. Are you getting the difference and importance? I'm giving you another example. Suppose you develop your project using driver name com.jdbc.mysql.jdbc.driver. This is context param. It means that we are assuming that all the pages where we have having the connectivity, we know that almost all the pages will have database connectivity. The driver name which will be used will be this. Suppose you deploy this project and client has used it for 5 years. And after 5 years, client decided that I don't want to work with MySQL, let my application shift the data server to Oracle. We know that database connectivity step number 1, load the driver. We are writing class.for name and we are using this string everywhere. If we are using this string everywhere and if there are 75 dynamic pages, if the database is changing, you need to go to all 75 pages to change this value, right? So which is a headache from the maintenance point of view. So what you can do is you can just change this single variable. Instead of MySQL database driver, write down the string which is for Oracle. You just need to change a single string, right? And the change will be reflected everywhere. Okay? Are you getting the importance of this context and config, right? What is the importance? It is used to hold the configuration parameter, which could be given an advantage as single point of access. Single point of access. So from the maintenance point of view, when you want to change, you can just change the web.xml, not all servlet pages. Fine? Fine? Is there any question or doubt up till now? Everybody. Any question, any doubt? Look at, we said servlet config interface. The object will be created by web container for each servlet, because servlet config is talking about init parameter, and init parameter is applicable to one servlet, right? To one servlet. Another example, each and every page in the industry would be developed by some developer. So if I talk about, let us say, if I talk about demo servlet, could be developed by developer Taru. And if I have another page, demo 2, it would have been developed by some other developer, right? So I can have here the init parameter. Again, the variable name is developer, and it could be developed by some other developers. Are you getting? Right? Right? So this variable is specific for this. Demo servlet 2, developer is Anika. Demo servlet, developer is Taru. So if we have servlet specific parameter, we set it as an init parameter. And when we have something which is globally applicable, at that time, we can go with the context parameter. For example, driver name, which is applicable to all the servlets, right? For example, develop that. Suppose I'm mentioning the company who has developed this software. So this is context parameter. Even servlet context was developed by author Taru. Servlet context 2 was developed by the author Anika, but both the pages are developed at the same company. So I can have develop at and some values. So these are the context parameter. Now I'm saying that when you have context parameter, you will not write inside the servlet. You will write directly in web app tag. Okay? You will directly work on the web app tag. But if it is servlet specific, we will write in the servlet tag. You can see here, init param we have written here in the servlet, demo servlet. And second init param, which is for demo servlet 2, we have wrote inside servlet/servlet. Fine? Is it clear? Okay. Now, to access this, we have two interfaces, servlet context and servlet config. So object of servlet config, which will be created by your web container, allows you to get the information from web.xml. And this is specifically for config parameter or init parameter, right? Major advantage is if the information is changed, we have to just change web.xml, no need to change the servlet. And this will give you the maintenance advantage. These are the methods which are available with servlet config interface. You can have get init parameter. For example, we use developer, developed at, and language or driver name. These are the parameters. So I can give that name, it will return me the value. So I can access those values. Fine? I can access those values. At times you have set so many parameters. And if you want the listing, what all are the parameter names, then you can go with get init parameter names method. It will give you the listing. Now each and every parameter is associated with one servlet. So you can just get the servlet name with which it is attached. Fine. And we can have the get servlet context. The context is for entire application. You can get the object of get servlet context from the servlet config interface. Right? Now, how to create an object? How to create an object? You can use get servlet config method and you can read the value. Look at here. Suppose I am creating a servlet. I'll right click on the default package and I'll create a new servlet. Okay. And I'll give the name. Okay. I'll add the information and you can see the down portion. It says initialization parameter. Can you see it? Initialization parameter. I can click on new. I can give the parameter name. And I can give the value. And I can click on finish. Right? Now, if I want to access these values, what I can do is, I have to create servlet config object, right? So I said the servlet config object. For that, I have to include java x.servlet.servlet config. Fine. I have to import java x.servlet.servlet config, right? Okay. And then I will create the object which says servlet config given an object name is equal to get servlet config. Now with the help of that config object, I can call the method. So I'm saying config.get init parameter and I'm specifying the name. I'm specifying the name. Are you getting the situation? Everybody. Right? So you see our init parameter for the context was developed at, and the context parameter was developer. Sorry, developer is the config parameter. Yes or no? Look at the web.xml. Developer. This is my config parameter. Okay, so I can use config.get initialization parameter. Okay, and context parameter, if you look at, we have two context parameter. One of it is developed at. Right? So I can display this too. Is it clear? Is it clear? This is my demo servlet. Fine. So in index.html, I have created one. I have created the links and I have wrote the code for that in both the servlets. Can you see this? Right? Let us start with the index.html. We have a hyperlink which says ./servlet1. Now when I said servlet1, basically servlet1, if you look at here, it is mapped with demo servlet. Can you see this? URL pattern, if it is /servlet1, it is mapped with the demo servlet. And demo servlet is having the class demo servlet.java. So this is the internal and external alias. The initialization parameter is developer, and the context parameter we have over here is two. One is the develop at and one is driver name. I'm trying to access developed at. Fine. So when I click on the hyperlink, as it is the get method, I have written the servlet demo servlet with the do get method. Right? Do get method. I've taken a HTTP servlet request and response parameter. I'm saying response.set content HTML text print writer out is equal to response.get writer. This object will be used along with the print method to give response to end user. Now, to access the config parameter, I can use the method get servlet config. Right? So I'm creating an object servlet config. Config is equal to get servlet config. And to access the context parameter, context param, we can use the servlet context. Context is equal to get servlet context. Right? And I'm trying to access the init parameter and the context parameter with the help of get init method. If I'm using the context, it will read context param. If I'm using config interface, it will read init param, specific for this servlet. Fine. This is for specifically demo servlet, and this is for whole application. Okay. So if I try to run this, first I need to do clean and build, and then I can run. You can see here it says servlet1, which is mentioned to demo servlet. Fine. Can you see it? This is context param, and this is config param, init parameter. Any question, any doubt? Importance समझाई है, बड़ी जगह change ना करना पड़े. We should not change. Suppose driver name. This is step 1. Then you can read the driver name in a string variable. The way we read over here. What we did is, we have read the variable context develop at. Suppose I want to take a string d name, right? I'll say equal to context dot get init parameter, right? And I am giving driver name. Right? And then I can write class dot for name, and I'll just say d name. Fine? Fine? So if I'm changing after 5 years from MySQL to Oracle, it's fine. I do not need to change the code. Only I have to change is the variable d name over here. Fine? So that is the advantage. Okay? Is there any question? Is there any question or doubt? To use context and config, you need to import it. javax.servlet context and servlet config. Fine. Suppose I have demo servlet 2. Fine. In demo servlet 2, if you look at the web.xml, we have init param as Anika. Developer is Anika. So even if I'm writing the same code, suppose I'm writing the same code to access the parameters, it will give me the specific value. So created an object of context, try to display it, right? Okay. Now let us run it. I have to create an hyperlink to demo servlet 2, which is created. Why it is not showing? Just a second. I need to check that why it is not showing me this change which I am applying at index.html. It is running the old one only. Can you see this, everyone? Look at, I have another application. In this application, if you look at the web.xml, what I have done is, I have set the init parameter only for one servlet. Demo servlet is having the init parameter developer. And demo servlet 1, you can see there is no parameter. There is no init parameter set, right? And that's why when I execute it, this is for the second one. It will give me null. Got the point? It will give me null. Fine. Whereas the first one is having the init param. So that's why it is giving me the value. Is it clear? Right? Any question, any doubt? You see the code. This is demo servlet, developer is Tarublog. So it is displaying the name. Servlet 1, there is no param value. That's why it is giving me null. Okay? Along with that, there's one more method which is setting the parameters, and you can just read out all the parameters which you have set. Suppose you want to learn or you want to know what are the context parameters. So you can create an object of context, right? You say get servlet context, and with the help of that context object, which is returning you an enumeration, you can just read all the param, whatever the parameters are there as in context param. You can run all, or you can read all the context param. Fine. We need to import context param. So look at here in the web.xml, we have one parameter which is develop add. We are adding one more parameter. Let us say default language, right? We'll say English. So this is going to share or save the two context parameter, and to read it we can go with the get init parameter names. It will give you the name and value. Can you see this? It is giving you all the names of the context parameter. There will be certain which are saved by your NetBeans. For example, this two. This we have not set, right? This is coming internally. Rest of the two we have set in web.xml. So it is giving you the name and pair list. How it is giving? Because we have a method which is called get init parameter names, which is returning us an enumerated value. So it could be a list. There could be many. So that's why we are taking a while loop. We taken a local variable string which is initially empty, and we are using while, right? While enumeration e dot has more elements. What is e? E is the return of the list of all the context parameter, right? So it is holding e. So we say until there are elements, e, while e has more elements, print it. So we are saying string is equal to e dot next element. We are printing string and we are printing context get init parameter, which is used to read single variable, right? So first variable is developed at dev underscore at. So it is giving us, it is passing it over here. So it is giving it the value and name whatever is there in the string. Second is default language, DEF language. So that is being taken in the second iteration of your while loop, right? And that's how it is going to display your output like this. Fine. These two are internal. And this is init param, which we have not set for servlet 1. That's why it is null. Okay. Any question, any doubt up till now? Right? So that's it for today. Further thing we'll discuss in the next session. If we summarize, we learn how to get the servlet context and config object with the help of get servlet context and get servlet config method. We learn that servlet context is used for the many, whereas config is used for the single servlet. Fine? Fine? Right? And major differences, config is for single and context is for whole application. We learn how we can use get init parameter and get init parameter names, these two methods for context and config object. Fine? Is there any question or doubt? Anyone? Is there any question or doubt? Now onwards the things will get more technical, so try to implement whatever we are learning on the same day. If you are implementing it, you will get it. Okay? Next lecture we are going to learn how to go from one page to another page using request dispatcher. As well, we are going to learn what are the attributes. Attributes are the variables which we can develop in the any web page. Fine? Right? So this is the next discussion. Don't miss it. I'm going to show you how a login application can be developed. So don't miss the next lecture because important discussion. We are going to do this next time. We are going to create a login application where we will check if user is valid, we will redirect it to the dashboard. Otherwise, we'll give the error message. Entire thing we are going to do with the help of the dynamic coding. So that's it for today. If you have any technical queries, you can raise your queries. Those who are online, those who are offline. Any query in servlet context config, the difference which we learn? Anyone? Kindly acknowledge yes or no.
No,
Any
ma'am.
query? Okay. So that's it for today. Quickly, let's have the attendance and then you can disperse.